the topics that we're going to be covering, and they include who are we, what are bones in general, how do we make sure that our bones are properly taken care of, and then just some fun facts. Who are we? So as she previously mentioned, we are the Orchid organization, and what we do is we give presentations to our community to raise awareness about certain health topics such as taking care of your bones, which is what we're doing right now.
So, first things first, what are bones? So, first of all, what are bones made of, right? Bones are actually very alive. You might think that they're just material that's in your body that helps keep you up and moving, but they actually grow and change like any other part of your body. And they're made of a protein called collagen, as well as a mineral called calcium phosphate. Sounds very sciencey, I know. But basically, the calcium phosphate makes the entire structure very strong.
I don't know what she's doing.
So now we're going to explain about the structure of the bone. So the periosteum is the outside of the bone, as you can see here.
Look, you can feel your bones now.
Yeah. So the outside is the periosteum, and it's thin and dense, and there are nerves and blood vessels that run through it and nourish the bone because it's alive and growing. The compact bone is the next layer, and it's smooth and very hard. As you can see over here, that ring over there, and it's the part you see when you look at a skeleton. Within the compact bone, there are many layers of cancellous bones, which is also called spongy bone because it looks like a sponge. There are a bunch of holes in it. So it's not as hard as compact bone, but it's still very strong. And then last of all is bone marrow, which is all the way in the middle of the bone. And it's protected by the cancellous bone. And the bone marrow, it produces all of your red blood cells and like blood cells that are running through your body right now. I told you. So first of all, how do bones grow, right? When you look at an infant and then you look at an adult, obviously the infant is a lot smaller than an adult. So how does an infant get to the size of an adult? Well, they have smaller bones, which is a huge factor. But this doesn't mean that infants have less bones. They actually have more when they're born. But how does this work, right? Because shouldn't infants have less bones and adults have more? But infants are actually born with around 300 bones. But these bones, they condense together and they connect. And then these bones turn into just one bone or a few bones. And so right now, you probably have around 206 bones instead. But let's get back to how bones grow in the first place. So in children, some bones are entirely made of or partially made of cartilage. And cartilage is this flexible substance that isn't exactly bone, so it just helps keep the body structured.
And you can feel cartilage in your ear, so if you touch your ear right now, it's flexible.
So if you can...
Okay, touch your ear.
Everyone touch your ears.
Touch your ear.
Touch your ear. Yeah, see how it's all flimsy and soft? Yeah, that's called cartilage. In adults, the cartilage is replaced by bone material as calcium that's in your milk is added into the bones. And so at 25 years old, there are no more bones growing. And then as you can see in this picture over here, so this is a bone from your thigh. And over here is the physis. The plate over here, it starts the bone growth to make it grow longer. And that continues during your lifetime. So what do bones do? Bones support our entire body, and it provides us with movement. If we don't have movement, then we wouldn't be able to survive, right? You might think muscles are the only compartment to movement, but bones provide a structure that the muscles can work on. And without bones, we would just be like a puddle of muscles and skin and things like that. So bones are extremely light because of their airy structure. As you can see here, it's all full of holes, and that's the spongy bone. but it's still very strong and it supports our every movement. They store calcium and they release it into the bloodstream when other body parts need it. So what can happen to our bones? Well, one common bone disease is osteoporosis. Yeah. And this is the most common bone disorder. And it's caused by a thinning of the bones, which makes it very fragile, and it can cause fractures in your bone, which is basically when your bones break. And that's not good. It's very painful. This can be prevented by increasing calcium and vitamin D whenever you can in your diet, and this will prevent the appearance of osteoporosis and a lot of pain. Another common bone disease is Paget's disease, or Paget's disease, and it's the second most common bone disease. It affects the formation of your bones. So this disease causes your bones to thin out, and it causes bone removal. But then the bones are replaced with something that is softer, and the bones become larger and deformed. And this isn't good for your body because it's different from your normal bone, and it's not as sturdy. So it causes a lot of pain, and it causes fractures. As for treatment, surgery or anti-inflammatory drugs may be recommended to reduce the pain and reduce the symptoms. The two last diseases that we're going to go over is rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis. They're very similar because they affect your joints and they make it stiff and painful. But rheumatoid arthritis, it occurs when the cartilage on the ends of your bones, they wear down and it restricts bone movement. So like your knee, for example, there's a lot of cartilage in between your knee bones, but when they wear it down, you won't be able to move it as well, and it'll be painful. Osteoarthritis, like I said, is similar, but it causes inflammation of the joints. And I'll have a picture up here. So this is a healthy joint, right? There are two bones that are connected together. There's a joint in the middle, and there is cartilage on the ends of each of the bones. And this protects them rubbing together and wearing them down, because otherwise it would hurt a lot. In osteoarthritis, the bones are worn down because there's no cartilage in between them. In rheumatoid arthritis, the joints are inflamed, as you can see the red over there. So how can we take care of our bones, Aqsa?
Yeah. And so before we move on, I just want to make sure that if any of you have any questions regarding what we talked about so far. Everyone's good? Okay, great. So I want to start with you guys. How can we take care of our bones? What are some ideas that you guys have?
Anyone? Oh, yeah, that's good.
Keep moving, yeah.
Anyone else? How can we take care of our bones and keep them strong?
Exercise.
Exercise.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So how to protect our bones? So physical activity. Some people mention exercise. Some people mention moving. And that can be something very simple. You can just go for a walk outside. Walk around this room. Yeah, walk. You can dance, or you can weight lift, or you can just move. Just keep moving, because the more you move, the more your body will realize that you want to move, and it'll protect the systems in the body, such as movement. The bones, that's a major part of their function. Another part is being cautious. So one of the biggest concerns with bones is falling down and breaking them. And has anyone here ever had a fracture? Like broken a bone? Broken a bone. Fallen down and okay.
Or fractured, or fell down. You did, sister?
Yes.
Okay.
Has anyone here broken their bone
How about
in their lifetime?
Did you ever
Okay,
fall?
anyone else?
Did you ever fall down, fell, and broke?
Did you ever break a bone? You?
Break a bone? And you break a bone?
Oh, scoliosis is another disease,
No, did
but
you ever had that? No, okay.
oh no, I'm sorry. But it's the bending of the spine. Yeah, it's a different disorder.
It deforms the bone.
It deforms the
Spinal cord.
spinal cord and the structures between the bone. So the bones aren't actually deformed themselves.
Yeah. So in your back, if you feel your back, you can feel this like kind of spinal cord running all the way down. And inside of it, it's kind of like a hollow tube. And inside of it, there's a spinal cord, which kind of goes all the way through it. So your bones are actually what's protecting it, essentially. And when it's like a developmental kind of thing, when you're growing old, sometimes you can get hunched up and your bones, instead of being aligned, it will go like that, or it can go like that. So it's like,
And that's called,
deformed.
so when you hunch over, that's called kyphosis. When your back is all the way like this, that's called lordosis. And scoliosis is when your back is a bit tilted like this. I actually have a mild form of scoliosis, so yeah, I know a bit about it. All right, well, back to bones.
Yeah. So being cautious is another major thing, and then besides that, you also have to make sure you're getting proper nutrition, and proper nutrition includes eating the proper vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin K, and proper minerals that you get. And like if you do physical activity, you take a walk outside, you get vitamin D. Vitamin D is so important to growing, and then like to your bones, to your bone health. Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of like people who exercise, like 37% less likely to become injured in the fall, which is a major concern, especially when you're growing older. And additionally, people who exercise reduce their chances of getting broken bones by 61%. And a lot of you are really lucky and you've never broken a bone before. But I remember when my brother was a little kid, he fell off his scooter and he broke both of his arms at the same time. And I was so confused how that happened. It's okay. But like, if he probably had proper nutrition, he probably wouldn't have broken his bones so easily and exercised more. Yes. And fun facts. So as Rebecca previously mentioned, little kids have a lot more bones than adults. Adults only have around, let's say, 206 bones, but little kids have like at least 100 more, like 300. Yeah. And then there are 6 bones in the human foot. So your foot has 6 bones, and then your hand has 54 bones, and that includes your wrist. So imagine all the little tiny bones in your hand that are working together to make sure you can have movement.
That's scary.
Yeah.
And then the femur, your thigh bone, is the largest bone in your entire body. And inside your ear, which helps with the transduction of sound so you can hear, there's this little tiny bone called a stapes. And as you can see here on this penny, it's like smaller than a penny. So that's kind of
Way
crazy to
smaller.
imagine how small the bones in your body can be.
And how large they can be.
Yeah.
Who's smoking pot?
So thanks for watching, and we hope that you enjoyed our presentation on bones. And now we're going to set up a small activity station if you want to stay and build a small skeleton, and we'll put up a picture of what it could look like at the end, but it's honestly up to you. You can make it however you want.